Hello everyone. Guess where we're going? So usually I'll drive to Cameron's house and we'll go riding from there. But today, because my 3,000 pound automobile is in the shop, I will be actually riding to Cameron's house. Instead of driving there. And then we're gonna go on a ride. So let's see how the Lynx does with range, right? Okay. Let me see how I'm gonna do this. I have to kind of make up this path on my own. So I have the settings to avoid freeways, right? Because we don't want to take the EUC on the freeway. They're not that stable yet. I think there will be a day where they are. Where they self-balance forward, back, and left and right. And then they're bigger, right? And imagine they can go a couple hundred miles per hour. That will come. Inevitably, absolutely, with no doubt whatsoever. We just don't have it yet. But meanwhile, I have to figure out how to get there in streets. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot a jacket. How did I forget my jacket? Probably because right now I'm not cold. It's like I have to bring things for the future, not just for the present. So I did put the bigger boots on, the motorcycle boots that go up to, they're tall. They cover more of the, they go up closer to the knees. So that feels good, more protection. And I have my backpack with a charger in it. What else do I have? Chest protectors on, which is a football player, rib cage protection. We can cross here. I have to get better at bending my knees when I jump off curbs and stuff, because it's like transferring all that energy on my back. And I think if I bend my knees more, it won't transfer hardly any of that energy into my back, which is preferable. See, I got my helmet buckled. I always have to check that because sometimes I do forget to buckle it. Rare. Now I've been doing it more, but when I first started wearing a helmet, oops, almost crashed. It's a little difficult for me to get on the EUC and balance when I'm right in front of a curb where I'm gonna go off. And it can be done. I do it often. Not so much with curves, but just like small drop downs. If I don't have my balance before I go off the curb, I can crash, right? So ideally we leave ourselves more space though to balance before a drop. Now I will say that I didn't change the cord for the camera because I don't have the correct cord. I mean, I have the correct fitting, it fits, but it doesn't have the correct angle. I want that angle where it's like 90 degrees. Okay, this wants me to go up all the way. At 90-degree angle. That way the cord's not just sticking straight out of the power supply. And I don't have that yet. I need to order another one because the one I use now, it's the correct angle, but because like had so many, I'll call them challenges on the road, where that cord was pulled, it's not working sometimes, and then the camera then the camera just runs on the battery it has, which lasts about an hour, and I don't always know when it stops recording. Sometimes just saying those words I just said will make it stop. I have to be careful what I say because the camera's listening. Now I could turn that off, and I may. Wow, look how low these trees are. I'm like leaning down as far as I can. A horse with the person riding on a horse definitely could not probably do that. That's what the tree trimmers told me. They said they try to cut them so a horse can get through there, and that covers everybody. But if anyone trims a tree that's hanging down in the sidewalk or any path, just high enough for a person to walk or ride a bike, that's not enough. Because that means all the people on the horses are going to get knocked off their horses. And we certainly don't want that to happen. So if every path is horse friendly, which is the least we can do considering that was how we moved before we had automobiles. Horses were the main transportation, right? And bicycles, surprisingly, or not surprisingly. That's about as surprising as the fact that we had electric vehicles before we had gas cars. If you watch Who Killed the Electric Car, the original one, and then the second one, Revenge of the Electric Car, it goes into some of the history of that. And I love how Nissan said, we're going to do this, we're going electric. And it wasn't about the money, it was about it's time to do the right thing. That's not a quote, but it's a paraphrase. It's approximate. It's the right thing to do, and that's why they did it. And I love that. That's why I'm sharing how to make a 60% inefficient heater, which is what all these automobiles are. Okay? Every single one of these gasoline-powered automobiles is a heater. It's not of transportation, it's a heater. Because most of what the energy does is create heat, 60%. Now, if it was at least 50%, we could say it's transportation / heater, right? It's a heater, though. These are all heaters with wheels. Why are we driving around in heaters? I'm asking you that. You don't have to have an answer. You can think about it or not, but I have a feeling your mind's going to think about it whether you want to think about it or not, because that means you're throwing away 60 cents of the dollar. Most of the money is getting thrown away to make heat that serves no purpose. That guy put his arms up, I think. He like, what is that, a spaceship? I think that's what he was saying. I'm like, yeah, you want one? You can actually buy this spaceship. Songhai was telling, his helmet says time machine on it. Songhai is someone I met on the bike path. He was driving his car. And thank you. The least I can do is go slow and wave. That's the least I can do. If I had donuts or candy or something I can give them as a gift, I would do it. Wouldn't that be nice? Just give everybody gifts. I'm trying to. That's what I'm doing here. Gifts of knowledge, gifts of thought, seeds of seeds of consideration, we can call it, maybe. Still wants me to go this way. Okay, we're doing good. What's happening? Any cars? Okay, we're gonna go because there's no cars. Hang on. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not dropping good. I'm transferring too much energy in my back. When you hear me go ugh, like that, that was me going, oh boy, I did something wrong. And I'm totally open to learning, so I think I'm going to ask some questions to people that know more than me. And it could just be that I'm wearing a backpack. This is a good time to go on the street. And I do see a marked bike path here, but I don't see cones. I don't see a barrier. See, this is an example of where the cars need to be out here and the bike path needs to be out by the sidewalk. That's a great design. So the cars park out here. The bike path is between the cars and the sidewalk. See, because now we have the trash can in the bike path, right? And that's a good way to do it. You know, it's been done, and many cities do that. And it's a good design. Okay, I don't see any cars. I think we can go. Oh, someone's coming now, but it's going to be a couple seconds till they get here. I have time. Here we go. The brain, I read this when I was a teenager and before a teenager. The brain makes millions and billions and trillions of calculations every second, every microsecond, every millisecond, whatever you want to call it. And we don't want to ever underestimate what the brain can do, okay? And that's part of the reason I'm so happy to have come to the conclusion that I can share with you my thoughts on efficiency and the transformation of these inefficient heaters that we all drive. By pre-oxidizing the fuel with high temperature flash vaporization, courtesy of NASA research and projects manager Bill Kendricks, shared the idea, but if you watch the video, he doesn't tell you how he did it. And then I figured it out, and I said, is this how you did it? And he goes, who you been talking to? How many people said that to me? Who you been talking to? Who else said that to me? Paul Pantone, Aquatune Water Fuel Technology. It's like I read a lot about nature and how things work, and then when I talk to them, they're like, how do you possibly know that electrostatic magnetic resonance is at the essence and heart of these systems? Electrostatic magnetic resonance. Think of those words. Paul Pantone was like, who have you been talking to? He was so sure I was talking to someone that knew information that wasn't supposed to be public, I guess. But if I figure something out myself, I could share it. That's how it works. And everyone tells me that. Oh, you know what? There's no sidewalk up there, and I also don't see a bike path. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. Let me look at this again. I don't see a sidewalk over there. Oh, wow. Okay, let me see what it wants me to do way up there, like when I go way up here. Let me think. Okay. Now you see the island in the middle? Right there, the island? That can be a bike path right in the middle right there. Okay, you see this? There's no sidewalk on this street, but okay, the sidewalk ends up here. Okay, but in the middle there's an island. That could be a bike path right there. Okay? Just saying. trying to help here. When I look at the way the cars are driving, I don't want to be over there. Oh, it says bike. I see a bicycle right here. I can actually ride in this lane. I'm going to do that. Just hope someone doesn't run me over. When you see bicycle in the lane, that means bicycle has full lane access. Does it mean it's safe? No. It's not safe. See all these bicycle pictures? That's to remind drivers that you're sharing this road. Does it do that? I don't know. I think sometimes it does. But should a driver need to be reminded that they're sharing the road with others? I don't know either. Now someone could cut over. I have to be careful of that. All right, when people change lanes real fast, I have to watch for that. See that bicycle? Very nice. Beautiful. Now I got a sidewalk again. This car is going to stop? Yes. I always assume we cannot be seen. Always. Even when they look right at you. On your left. Now 1 out of 1,000 will be like, you shouldn't be on the sidewalk. Well, you know, get all mad and stuff, right? I'm just saying that happens. Now, maybe more people than 1 out of 1,000 think that, but 1 out of 1,000 in my experience will say it. And I just talk with them. I just have a conversation. And in every case, I think they came around to being open. I don't know, though. I'm not saying I'm trying to convince people that we all have to share the road here. But the transportation infrastructure, in terms of like... Oh, that was better. And that time I jumped. I lifted up. Maybe that's what I need to do. That didn't hurt when I went off. Usually when I just drop down, it's like, oh, wow. It's like, it hurts, right? Like jarring to the back. Well, I do have a backpack on. Let's see where we are right now. Okay, we can cross here. Cybertruck. I love the Cybertruck so much. When I first saw it, I felt nauseous, I felt confused. And I think I've always felt that way with breakthrough discoveries. I'm calling it a discovery. When I discovered the Cybertruck, yeah, there was a day when I said, what is that? And now I just love it. It's like when you know, it's like loving a person. You know how like we might have preconceived ideas about what beauty is, right? But have you noticed that when you get to know someone, they are beautiful? Have you noticed that? And I'm talking about like serious beauty, like absolute beauty. Like completely beautiful. Hi. Thank you. Try it sometime. I mean, unless you already have. I'm the last to know things, so I'm probably the last person. I'm like, look, people are beautiful when you get to know them. You know, saying that beauty's on the inside and all that, that never made, like, what do you mean, inside, what? Get to know someone, that's the formula. Get to know them. That makes people beautiful, every single person. It works every time, 100%. And you will see beauty like you've never seen before. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but it's amazing. And they say the magical journey of life is getting to know people. That's the magic, right? Okay, let's see where we are, where we're going. Okay, making a right. I'm gonna go in the street now. And then we're gonna make a left, I think? Yeah. Okay, what am I doing right now? I need to turn here. Are you enjoying this journey with me? I hope so. You could skip forward if you want to. Oh, look at that. It looks like a community garden. I didn't even know about that. So I do want to recommend to anyone learning electric unicycle to practice carving. James of Next Gen Mobility. See, first of all, James, I was lucky enough, I'm lucky in many ways. I was lucky enough for Roger to encourage me to learn EUC. And then as I was learning, literally in the process of learning, I bumped into James. And James, they were like, hey, come ride with us. And James, the reason I told that story, I'm establishing a little bit of history. I know I've said all this before, but James said, never go straight. Don't just go straight. Carve. Always be carving. Carve, carve, carve. What's carving? Left, right, left, right. And what I've learned from that is that when it helps you learn how to turn. Let's see where we're going right now. Straight still. Carving helps us turn, right? Now I don't know what side of the street to be on right now, but I might cross. Oh no, there's no crosswalk over there. Look what I almost did. I almost crossed over there, but there's no crosswalk to get across, so I would have been stuck over there. Good thing I looked ahead. It was really nice when I shared recently with someone that my YouTube channel is a journal. And they expressed appreciation, gratitude, and value. Like I felt like they valued my project. Call it Project Earth, right? How can we all work together and not be fighting each other? And I'm talking about, listen to this. You ever seen people that want people to fight? We've seen it in school, like going through grade school. We've seen it in life. And we see it in the world, right? Where some people... Thank you. That was really nice of that man. He waved to me like he made a mistake. That was so nice of him. See, some people really have... I don't know what it is. They just... I mean... Somehow they have... this capacity to... Sorry. It's okay. He was apologizing because his dog almost bit me. His dog went over to bite my foot. I'm like, I got these boots on and I don't think your dog's gonna bite through this boot. I know it's not. I mean, it won't be easy. How about if I say it that way, right? Because we know there's no impossibilities. We just know that things can be difficult, can be a challenge, right? But that was nice again, that man saying sorry like that. His dog didn't bite me, it almost did. But the fact that he said that showed that he was aware that it might have alarmed me that the dog came toward me like that. And he's apologizing for that, for the possibility that it alarmed me. Very, very considerate and polite. See, polite, considerate, and respect. That's an old word, right? Respect is that's a big one. That's a big one. These, I think, are tools of de-escalation. Okay? Think of that. Tools of de-escalation. And I mean genuine from the heart and wholeheartedly meaning it, not just saying the words. Someone recently explained to me, which I need to connect with this person. I met a really amazing person recently. I'm going to say I made a new friend. But I didn't keep in contact with them. And that's okay. But I think they wanted me to ask to keep in contact with them. They were leaving up to me. I'm going to try to reconnect with this person. They were telling me that I think I go straight still. Let me see. It's telling me to go Verdugo Road. I think it wants me to go down Verdugo. Let me see. Chevy Chase. Yeah, it wants me to go this way. Okay. Okay. Okay, get ready. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. Woohoo! But can I fit through here? That's one question I have. I love these plants. I love nature so much. Okay. Let's see where we are here. I wave because why not wave? Why not? Every reason to wave, and every reason to how do I say? There's every reason to wave, right? Every reason. I can't think of one reason to not wave. Not one. Unless someone was like, oh, someone might give me a bad look, or they might not wave back. That's fine. We still gave that gift, right? I think of it as a gift. Connection's a gift to me. And we can't always connect, we can always try. Let's see where we are right now. Okay, still go straight. I'm gonna go ahead and push the button. When I see the pole dark like that, I wonder if that's all from dogs. You see how fast that car is going? I don't know how fast that was. It could have been 70 or 80. This is a 35-mile-an-hour area. And I know I've said this many times, but I met someone that said they went 150 miles an hour through the city of Glendale. 150 miles an hour late at night, running red lights. And I think a lot of people do things like that when they're young, like starting to drive. And, you know, I don't know what, like, the only thing I can think of is we need racetracks. You know, if people want to go fast, they need a place they can go fast. And a lot of people tell me, yeah, we used to have more tracks. You know, we used to have more racetracks back in the, like back, you know, a long time ago. And many decades ago. And now there's not that many around here locally. And so people need a place to go fast. And they're going to do it. So they'll just do it wherever they can. And that does make sense to me. That's what older people tell me, like people that race. They say people have to have a place to go fast. And kids, or just young adults, you know, if they want to go fast, they're going to go fast. They need a place to do it. So the long-term solution may be actually having more local tracks. And I hope that can be something that's made available to people, giving people a place to go fast if they want to, instead of having to drive, like trailer their vehicle really, really far, right? I'm just sharing information. I'm just, you know, just sharing my thoughts. Again, this is my journal. And I hope that you see this channel as me sharing with you what I think about, including my life. Okay, let's see where we are. Keep going this way. It's interesting because I've been looking at different chest protectors, and I'm talking about chest / rib cage protectors, because rib cage could be on the side, not just in the front. Okay, not just the frontal chest protector. I'm talking about full coverage all the way around. Okay, the sides have to be protected just as well as the front and the back. And when people say, oh, well, it doesn't look good, that's why more companies don't make it. Okay, you know what? It can be made to look good. I mean, you can't avoid making safety protection because of fear of how something looks. From the viewpoint of the consumer, I would say the shift is definitely toward, I mean, people are asking for special gear for EUCs. They're saying we need gear that's more protective for electric unicycles. More protective, and I'm comparing it to motorcycles, right? Because motorcycles can go 200 miles an hour and more, right? Close to 300, I think, and beyond even. But right behind you. But let me turn my headlight on now. But on an electric unicycle, we crash more frequently than a motorcycle, right? Much more often. And I'm not sure exactly how and why, like the physics of it. I'm thinking about it. But when we fall, we need that ribcage protection, and we need, you know, special different kind of gloves, right? And it might in part be that when we fall on a motorcycle, we often like slide out. So we're like sliding on the motorcycle. Whereas the EUC, when we go down, if it's a cutout or something, or we hit something or lose control, we often go flying down with our hands. So these, we need shocks here. That's what these act as. That's a shock that absorbs the impact. Right? Absorbs a large percentage of the impact. Large percentage of the impact. Okay, what's happening right now? I thought that light was changing the other way. Can I go that way? Okay, maybe I'll push both of these and see which one changes first. I think it's time to take my sunglasses off. That's gonna take a minute, because I gotta put them away. Hope I don't miss my light. But if I do, it'll change again. Okay, sunglasses are put away. Light changed. Time to go. Backpack's not perfectly on, but I'll work on that. Okay, what's happening here? Feels like it's twisted. I think we got it. Okay. I do hope that this road doesn't take me to the freeway, because like I said earlier, I'm not going to go on the freeway yet until they make a EUC that is much bigger and stabilized on both axes, both forward, back, and left and right. On this EUC, I can still lean left and right. That's how I steer. So on I'll as a working title, I'll call it a 4-axis EUC. Thank you. A 4-axis stabilized EUC. On that kind, we would lean, and that information would be input into a controller that would still let us turn left and right by leaning left and right. But it would be stabilized in a way that doesn't let us fall over. Because right now I could fall left and fall right, and the EUC will drop down. And when it reaches a certain degrees, I think it's 45 degrees right now, when it reaches 45 degrees, it cuts power. And that's so that it won't take off. Like, you ever seen the EUC? A video of an EUC like flipping around and flying around? And that's because those cutoff angles have to be set correctly. And I've consulted continuously with people that have way more experience than me to help collect the most accurate and applicable information, meaning information that can apply directly to my experience based on what people see me doing and what I tell them I'm doing. So it's set to 45 degrees, if I understand correctly. Okay, I think we're going to stay on this side of the street. Let's see what the map says. Turn the brightness down to save the battery. So I am running a tubeless Lynx. I took the tube out. I literally just cut the tube out. I saw such a bad crash. That was close. I saw such a bad crash on a YouTube video. You've probably seen it, where a gentleman was riding his electric unicycle and the tube popped and he went down. There was vehicles everywhere. Luckily no one hit him, thank goodness. And but it was a tube failure. And I wrote to him that my experience. I said I took my tube out because I don't know if I told him mine leaked in 2 days. The story is, and a lot of you may already know this, but the story is my tube, after the second day of riding my electric unicycle, started leaking. And it leaked out within like 30 minutes. Now some people it just pops. And a lot of people are like, oh, but how do you get the tube centered perfectly in there so it's not pulling on the valve stem? And I don't want to use a tube because I don't know if the valve stem has tension on it. There's no valve stem tension gauge that tells me if the valve stem has a side pressure pulling on it that could lead to a tear in the tube between the valve stem and the tube itself. On your right. So I just took the tube out. I put a tubeless valve stem in there. I had to drill the hole a little bit bigger for that to fit. And I have even a much bigger hole if I drill out. I could put a motorcycle valve stem in there, tubeless, which I may do someday. I was trying to find out if that was used because I gave a motorcycle valve stem to someone and I asked them, but they didn't get back to me. So I know that person's very busy, and I could always ask again, or I'll see him someday and I'll ask him. But it looked like they may have used it. I saw a video they made and it looked like they used that valve stem I had ordered and given to them in trade, because they had given me a valve stem and then I gave them a valve stem back plus one. That's the way I did it. So you can call that interest or a thank you. Now I'm realizing right now that I'm going much slower than the cars go. That means that this is based on car travel, right? Now if I ride in the street, it'll be faster, so I should ride in the street. Let's do that. That took me a minute to figure out, didn't it? I'm just trying to be safer by riding slow on the sidewalk, but I gotta get where I'm going. Okay. Oh, come on, don't stop right in the bike lane. Okay, this is the bike lane right here. Let's see what's happening at this intersection. Okay. I was at the gym one day talking with a gentleman that I was talking about experiments and things, and he told me he had a friend that, I'm going to talk about water fuel technology right now. He was saying that he had a friend that was able to break down the bond of the water molecule, the bond that holds the oxygen and hydrogen together, using heat as the primary influence, if I call it that. I'm definitely riding that. See that right in front of me? I'm not going to go through that. all those cars. I have to go around them. I'll be way out in the street. I don't want to do that. I'll go this way, just for this intersection, just for up here, and then I can go back out on the bike path. Trader Joe's. Look how popular this place is. This line is for Trader Joe's. Okay, I'm gonna get back out on the bike path the first chance I have, if there is a bike path still. Okay, let's see where we're going here. Yep, I still see a bike path out there. Okay, does it look clear? Yes. One thing I love about the Teslas is when they hit the brakes, to know that they're not using up their brake pads, and they're actually just slowing down by putting a little power back into the battery, and that the motor turns into a generator instantly, or it's both. It's a motor generator, and there's a bunch of like what would be categorized often as free energy motor generators, which from what I've seen is just imagine an electric motor, but then you have extra coils in there, right? So imagine there's extra coils that are not part of the motor, but are they're just acting as a generator. Now there will be some resistance, but if you set it up to make a high voltage spike, that's ideal, because the high voltage pulses can charge a battery, and especially if we charge a battery that's not running the electric vehicle, right? If we charge a separate battery and then switch between the two batteries back and forth, right? Now this is all things I've thought about, studied, researched, and drawn out, designed, you can call it. But I've also studied a lot of other people's work, and it's just exciting. It's exciting to learn about things and to think about things. Think about solutions. Okay, we're moving on along here. I do think that free energy, it's not about getting free electricity. It's about freely sharing in a collaborative way ideas. That's the free energy. So the free energy is how that expands exponentially as we share with one another. So in a way, the imagination is like a free energy system, right? I think free energy is really about imagination. It's not about, oh, I don't have to pay for energy anymore, right? Because everybody knows you have to buy materials, you have to buy things, you have to buy batteries. Just like solar, right? If you want free energy from the sun, you have to have solar panels. Well, I mean, that's for that particular kind of energy, right? I still remember Bill Nye the Science Guy saying that we only use 1% of the energy from the sun. That was great. And some people were kind of making fun of Bill Nye the Science Guy, saying he wasn't even a scientist. He wasn't a major science major. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's partly why he had so much passion about it. Because a lot of people that study science in school, not everyone, but a lot of people will say that school took the fun out of it. It took the passion out of it. It made it boring to them. They felt bored by it. And a lot of people tell me that, you know, as an adult, they found ways to be excited about science that they couldn't get from school. Now, with that said, I've also met scientists who are inspired by the schooling process and inspired by the educational process. It's just really a matter of that we all learn differently. I think that's what it really is, right? We all learn differently. Look at this sidewalk, wow. you know, if people call, like any of these houses where they have the damage in front of their sidewalk, anyone in the city can call. I think this is Pasadena right here. I'm not sure technically if this is Pasadena, but we're close to Pasadena. Or either this is Pasadena or we're close to it. But the city will come out and fix these things. They'll fix the sidewalk. You have to ask. That's all you have to do is ask. Remember, ask and ye shall receive? Like people always say that. Well, I always heard that growing up. Just ask, just ask, just ask. So now, what questions can we ask? What do we need, right? And how can we share with each other? When Justin was showing me where he crashed, I couldn't believe how there was these black stoppers, like these things stuck up like 6 inches or 7 inches or 8 inches from the ground, and it was like a black hard rubber material or something. He hit that at full speed. It was in the bike lane, and if you don't take the bike lane perfectly, if you go off to the side a little bit, thank you, then that was very nice. I've learned just today that if someone is gonna slow down and let me pass, to do it. Otherwise, I'm sitting out there in the street and I can get hit. So if someone's stopping, I need to go. I thought about that, because if I stop and I'm letting them go after they already stopped to let me go, I can get hit while I'm waiting for them to go. And that's how a lot of bicycles get hit in micromobility. They're just waiting in the intersection or at the intersection, like at the crossing of it, and they get hit from behind or from the side or many ways. Oh, it's closed right there. How am I going to get over this thing? They put that sign right blocking the path. You see this? Unbelievable. Oh, shit. Sorry. Excuse my language. I just fell. I just fell over that sign. The sign's still up. It just, I don't know what happened. It just made a lot of noise as I fell over onto it. I'm okay. The sign's okay. We're all good. I don't think a sign should block a path like that. I'm not even sure why that sign was there, because the sidewalk looks fine, right? Now this is frustrating to me because there's no sidewalk ramp. See this? That means a wheelchair cannot get up there. I'm always going to say that. If there's not wheelchair access, I'm going to say that, because there's supposed to be wheelchair access everywhere. But people have to ask for it. That's what I'm told. Okay, I have to figure out where I'm going to cross now. Look at, I can't even... There's no sidewalk here. Where am I going now? I think it wants me to cross this bridge. It sure does. I think it wants me to cross this bridge right here. See this traffic right here? Wow. I have to watch for people turning around too. That could happen, right? Look at all this traffic. And I don't think there's a simple way to go around this. That's probably why the map took me this way. Now, on the other side of that rail, see where that person's walking? To my right? There should be a way to get over there, like walking, you know, like a ramp, and I didn't see one. That's something else that has to be requested. It just takes one person requesting it. I mean, Pasadena's pretty good about it. If you request, they do it. In other cities, I've requested for many years and things didn't change. That might require many more people calling. I'm not sure exactly how things work like that. Okay, let's see where we are and where we need to go. Okay, it wants me to go that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this button.
Wait.
It says wait. I'm going to listen to that. I wonder if I should cross. Yeah, I'll cross. Just to be on that side of the road, the correct side of the road, I'll call it. Hopefully I can... There's a sidewalk over there.
Wait.
To be out of the street. Oh, time to cross. Beep, beep. On your left. Thank you. I didn't want to interrupt them. They were talking. Didn't want to interrupt them. Okay. See where we are now. Go straight. We are now in Pasadena. There should be nice ramps at every sidewalk, and if there's not, if you call, they put them in right away. Pasadena has some of the nicest bike paths that have barriers to protect the cyclists and micromobility. I'll say participants. Let's see what we do here. Keep going straight. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I could probably turn right here, but I'll just do what the map says. Let's see if we're still recording. Oops, losing my balance. Yeah, we're still recording. Okay. There is some absolutely amazing houses in Pasadena. Some of my favorites. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we have a couple people jogging up ahead. I have to decide what to do. I might go in the street, I might go in the dirt. Thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you. They called it a bike. A lot of people call this a bike. I might just go in the dirt right now. Thank you. There's like a big group of people running and hiking up here. Oh, I see what's happening. It's a group. Yeah. I'm gonna try going in the grass right here. Okay. Thank goodness there's all these ramps. I like this. A lot of sidewalks will not have a ramp to get up the sidewalk. I mean, sometimes there's ramps everywhere. Other times there's like a ramp missing here and there. But it can happen. I've been on streets where there's just no ramps. Like every single sidewalk doesn't have a ramp. I went a little bit too fast past my driveway. I should have gone slower. Because if a car was pulling out fast, I wouldn't have been able to stop in time. So, oh, I was probably counting on there being headlights on, but I can't count on that. Because sometimes people forget to turn the headlights on, right? But if the headlights are on, I would see the light hitting the ground. Okay, let's see where we are now. Yeah, I'm definitely getting closer, that's for sure. Okay, On your left. Cyclists, like professional cyclists that race and compete, they taught me to say on your left, on your right, on your left, whatever side you're on, say that as you're passing. That's what I learned. It's funny, they taught me that, but a lot of them, well, I shouldn't say them, a lot of cyclists won't say anything when they pass a person. So there again, there's no absolutes, right? Let's see where we are. Go straight still.
Wait. Wait. Across Fair Oaks at Orange Road. Wait.
Electric unicycle. Thank you. You like it? You should get one. It's fun. That man was very interested. Gave me thumbs up. There was a gentleman that came into Starbucks the other day when I was charging, and he was like telling me like, this is the coolest, most challenging thing you could possibly like ride. Like the most dangerous, the coolest, like I don't know how he worded it, but he was just like saying, going on and on about, like I think he liked it a lot. And I encourage people to try it out, but here's the thing, it takes extreme dedication and thank you. It takes extreme dedication. I'm going to use those words because it's a real commitment to learning. And it's not, you can never, like, how can I say this? It requires, like, I think it does require a large part of the mind. Even though I could imagine someone doing a test on that and being like, oh, it just uses 1% of the brain. I wouldn't be surprised. And I would say to that, that's how powerful the brain is. Whether it uses 100% of the brain or if it uses 1% of the brain or 0.001% of the brain. Neither one of those surprised me, either one. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it used a significant portion of the brain, and I wouldn't be surprised if it used 1% of the brain, because that just says how powerful the brain is. But I will say this, right, when you ride this, the mind is... Well, I think of it as the way the heart beats and the way we breathe. Like, it's not something I'm thinking about when I ride it. But practicing gives me a better chance of being able to reduce my chance of getting hurt, I feel. Which is why I try to ride as often as I can. And my car being in the shop has created a great opportunity for riding. It's okay. That man said sorry 3 times. He said, oh, sorry. And he had a child in a crib. And it was a man and a woman with a child in the crib. And look how they treated me with such care and respect. And I'm just guessing it's because I'm going slow and I'm showing them courtesy, right? It allows them to be courteous. How do you bring out the best in people, right? How do we bring out the best in people? By being our best. Can being our best bring out the best in someone else? Now, it's not always going to happen, right? Because someone could be having a bad day, or, you know, people are different. But okay, let's see where we are. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Nothing I'm saying is absolute. It's just considerations. For your consideration. Okay, let's see where we are. Wants me to go straight still. Okay, someone's carrying 2 water bottles. Those are 8 pounds each. 8 pounds per gallon. Water is 8 pounds per gallon. Heavier than gasoline. Gallon of gas only weighs, I think, is it 6.4 pounds? Water expands 1,800 times from a liquid to a vapor. Gasoline only expands 162.3 times, I think it is. Uh-oh. That was a bad move on my part. I tried to give them room, and almost got myself in trouble with the car coming toward me. Luckily, that car wasn't speeding. I was lucky, because if that car was speeding, it would have been more complicated challenge. Okay, I think we're getting closer. I think I can go out here for a moment. Okay, I see the sidewalk as an obstacle. I'm just gonna go around. Thank you. Is there a car there? Okay. Where are we? Keep going. Oh, I think I'll cross. I want to be on the other side of the street. My goggles are fogging up. Oh, twisty, twisty. That's for those sharp turns with the cones when I was first learning to ride, where that comes in handy. And I didn't know I'd be using that so much, but I use it often. The ability to turn sharp at low speed without falling over, right? I mean, sometimes I fall over, but driveway. Okay. Another driveway. Looks clear. Walkway. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Oops. Ugh. Okay, I think we're good. A lot of people have never seen an electric unicycle before, which is easy for me to say, oh, how could someone not have seen it, right? Like, I could say that, but you know, it makes sense, right? It makes sense that this has not been seen by everyone because they're kind of rare. Like, if we just look at the statistics of how many people ride them compared to how many people there are in, you know, in any city, it's probably like 0.000000000% like zero, like you know, 50 zeros and a 1, 0.1, 0.00, 0.0 and with 50 zeros and a 1. Like, it's so low. It's like, so a lot of people will say, I've never seen one of those. What is that? What is that? How does it work? How do you balance on it? How do you stand on it? And really the best answer would be, I don't know, I just ride it. But I learned to ride it. I did learn, but I don't think I used my thoughts to learn to ride it. My thoughts said, let the muscles learn how to do this without thinking about it.
Wait.
And I used the shopping cart. That's the way I did it. And then I transitioned away from the shopping cart by letting go of it at some point and then riding without it. I still remember what that feels like, but also knowing that as I continue to do that, that I would become, I think the words are technically proficient. That might be the words to use. Excuse me. Do, 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 do. Okay. I'm really glad all these streets have sidewalks. I've been on many streets. Well, we saw one earlier where there was no sidewalk, and I rode in the street. I mean, I'll ride in the street, but it's nice to have the choice, because if cars are speeding or it's a lot of traffic, I may choose to ride slower on the sidewalk instead of being in the street. I could probably ride in the street now. I might try it. Let me try it right now. See how that goes. Let's see how things are looking here. We're gonna make gotta go one more mile.
Wait.
Wow, the volume on that one is loud. That thing was like screaming at me. Not screaming, but definitely loud. Now that motorcycle, which sounds like a Harley Davidson, it's hard to believe that that engine is just as inefficient as the most efficient mass-produced vehicle engine that uses gasoline to run, and it's 60%. I mean, plus or minus very little, right? Like, there's very little difference, because, and the primary reason for that is because we're not oxidizing enough of the fuel. And ideally we want to oxidize all of the fuel before, this is my research and study has indicated conclusively, in conclusion I should say, that if we oxidize the gasoline with flash vaporization, meaning spraying under 36 plus, right, PSI, ideally much higher pressure. Some experimenters were using 90 PSI after I explained this. There's many people that have replicated this over the years after I made the video that introduced the concept in detail about the process of it, right? Now, I know a lot of people make videos like this, but I'm talking about this. I'm choosing to keep talking about this because I'm trying to discover ways to articulate, which means, I think means to explain in words, this process, the significance of it. Imagine touching the exhaust pipe and it's not even hot. When you run, now if you run off fumes, gasoline fumes, this is something that's interesting. If you running off gasoline fumes, the exhaust and the engine will still get very hot, right? But if you run off of this, what I'll call white vapor, because it's like a white smoke, when you flash vaporize the gasoline at 800 degrees Fahrenheit by spraying a high pressure mist, like from a fuel injector, ideally at like 90 PSI, between 36 and 90 or more, higher is fine, onto this hot surface, which can be stainless steel or iron. And the gasoline molecules, if I understand correctly, all of them, all the gasoline molecules combine, and I'm sure there's scientific words for this, chemistry and everything, combine with oxygen at a stoichiometric perfect ratio, all right? Stoichiometry, equal balance, complete burn. At a stoichiometric air-to-fuel ratio, meaning every gasoline molecule has the oxygen with it now. Therefore, when you guide these white vapors, which the engine's an air pump, so it'll just pump them right in, right? So when you let these vapors enter the combustion chamber, the intake manifold and combustion chambers of the gasoline-powered engine, the engine doesn't get hot. And I'm not even sure it needs a cooling system anymore, because the exhaust system stays warm to the touch and is not hot, even after running the engine hard. So if we know that we're throwing away 60% of the energy, right? If we know that, if that's a scientific fact, then what do you think would happen if the engine's not hot anymore? It makes sense to me that we've just increased what's called the thermal efficiency of the internal combustion engine by better oxidizing the fuel, right? So some people have asked me, Joseph, if you knew the cure to cancer, if you knew the cure to cancer, which I'm going to say watch Forks Over Knives, the documentary, the movie documentary. Watch that, Forks Over Knives. There's a website too, there's a book. To me, that's your cancer research right there. This comes from Harvard doctors that risked losing their positions, and I think did lose their positions, by going public with this knowledge. Now, does that make any sense? I would think they would be praised for it. To make a breakthrough like that. But that's like me saying we can increase the thermal efficiency of the internal combustion engine by flash vaporizing the fuel at 800 degrees Fahrenheit, and someone saying, well, that violates the laws of physics. Jesus. Okay. That was like a delayed... I thought they were letting me go, and then they started rolling forward more. Sorry for the words. Yeah, like my teacher said, everything's a miscommunication, and that was one right there. At least I didn't get hit. At least they didn't stop, and I go in front of them and they run me over, right? Because that can happen. They could be like, "I thought you were letting me go," and miscommunication, right? So, yeah, I'm thinking about this. If you want to challenge yourself to try to tell this story of increasing efficiency. Now, some scientists will say that we have to throw away 60% of the energy. We have to. It's a law of physics. The laws of physics say that we have to throw away 60% of the energy. I mean, how ridiculous does that sound? I'm sorry. No offense to anyone, but telling me that we have to throw away 60% of the energy in fuel, I just missed my turn, and calling that a law of physics and that it's a requirement? What? That's like telling me that we'll never have anti-gravity because there's no such thing as anti-gravity, and then I say, well, what we're talking about is creating a gravitational force that repels the Earth's gravity field. And people just might use the word anti-gravity because that's what people used for words. Like free energy is not free, right? But we use those words because people know what they mean. They know that they're associated with an extremely efficient process. Anti-gravity is more about creating a gravitational force field. And if in my research and study indicated that voltage is gravity, and with enough voltage, 263,000 volts per centimeter squared. Oh, where am I? Wow, there's no sidewalk here. Whoa. I mean, there's no ramp. That's okay. We have suspension. Thank goodness. Thank you, Lynx, for this great suspension. Here's a ramp. I consider this ride today, well, I'm always training, right? I'm always training my brain to be more inclusive. I'm always training my emotions to have more capacity for empathy and compassion, including for myself, right? So here we are. Turn right. Not excluding myself. A lot of people care about others. Look, there's no barrier here. This needs a barrier. It needs cones. Those cones, everybody's seen them, right? Okay, where to now? Left? Left turn. I'm signaling with my hand. Go up this street, I guess? Let's see. Yep. Oh, I was watching the new Star Trek. Well, I don't know if it's new, but it's Strange New Worlds. Yeah, it does help to jump up. When I lift up, when I jump off, it doesn't shock my spine the way it was when I would just drop off something. So maybe that's the secret, but I'll ask people too. Sometimes people don't know how they do what they do. They just do things intuitively, and they have to think about how to give words to their experience, which is fine. That's fine too. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so to tell me that we have to throw away, that it's a law of physics to have to throw away 60% of the energy, I mean, that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense, because nothing's impossible, right? Thank you. Nothing's impossible. I was raised that way, I'm sorry. I was raised that nothing's impossible, okay? And I'm saying sorry because I think some people think that there are things that are impossible. And if that works for that person, okay. What works for me is trying to solve the impossible. Because our whole world right now was impossible 100 years ago. Every part of our world was impossible 100 years ago. Okay? Oh, I missed my turn. Okay, let's go back. Alrighty, let's go back. Okay, everyone, I'm going to wrap up this video and then we'll record again when Cameron and I are riding. It's nice how the night's cooler, though. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to think about what the efficiency is of the internal combustion engine. You know, when they say we want to save our resources, why are we using 60% of the energy to make heat if we want to save oil? Why are we throwing away half of it making heat when the goal of a vehicle is to have transportation, right? It's to move, not to make heat. Well, we're driving heaters. Now, if anyone wants to test this at their college or school or privately, I said everything that needs to be known. The air to fuel ratio is preset. The vapors burn perfectly. And nature is definitely stepping in on this process because we're flash vaporizing the fuel in the presence of the ether, in presence of space-time, in presence of nature. Let's see where I'm going here. Okay, everyone, we'll see you in the next video, okay? See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.